Thank you for joining us today as we learn about the YMYL Schema Markup plugin and the enormous benefits of using schema markup, in other words, structured data and microdata, on our websites. Structured data is the big guy right now in logical semantics, and Google, both directly and indirectly, is investing a lot in it. This plugin makes adding schema to your web pages as simple as possible. A couple of months ago, Google released a new version of schema.org. This new version improves the ability to disambiguate between entities and/or better explain their meaning. Schema markup was invented for users. Microdata exists primarily for search engines. The YMYL Schema plugin was developed to make your life easier to implement proper schema markup on your sites and to boost your search engine rankings, because Google loves structured data. Websites that use schema markup will rank better in the SERPs than companies without markup. One study determined that websites with markup rank an average of 4 positions higher in the SERPs than those without schema markup. Right now, 1/3 of Google's search results incorporate rich snippets, which includes schema markup. However, according to search metrics, only 3%, take note of that, only 3% of all websites use schema markup. In other words, there are millions of websites missing out on a huge source of potential SEO. If you use schema markup, you'll automatically have a leg up on the vast majority of your competition. When a website has schema markup in place, users can see in the SERPs what a website is all about, where they are, what they do, how much stuff costs, plus plenty of other important information. Some people have taken to calling schema markup your virtual business card. This is a user-focused improvement. Search engines exist for users to gain the information they need. Schema markup does exactly that. The more you mark up, the better. Again, the more you mark up, the better. Schema.org's instructions explain clearly the more content you mark up, the better. When you start understanding the vast array of item types, you begin to see just how much there is on your web page that you can mark up. Schema markup helps your website rank better for all kinds of content types. There is data markup for articles, local businesses, restaurants, TV episodes and ratings, book reviews, movies, software applications, events, products, and more. There are hundreds of markup types, from toy stores to medical dose schedules. If you have any type of data on your website, there's a good chance that it's going to have an associated item scope and item type. E-commerce websites have the most to gain with properly employed schema tags. Most e-commerce sites feature thousands of pages, if not more, that are auto-generated for each product. This product likely has duplicate content provided by the manufacturer and isn't doing much to increase the SEO of your site. By wrapping item details in structured data, you can get a huge leg up on your competition and get your products in front of many more users. The Schema Markup plugin by YMYL Themes simplifies the process of adding schema.org structured data to content published with WordPress. If you are a business owner or just in charge of your business's website and you want to dramatically increase your traffic from search engines like Google and Bing, then your first step should be to integrate structured data into your website. The YMYL Schema Markup plugin automatically creates and adds properly formatted schema.org structured data. It's WooCommerce enabled with schema markup styled elements for each product you sell. Again, a huge rankings boost. It uses WordPress shortcode to keep the schema data from breaking in the visual editor. It enables you to easily edit schemas you've already created. it provides unique CSS classes and IDs to enable you to customize the style of the microdata. From featured snippets to in-depth articles to knowledge panels, Google SERP features have remade the search marketing landscape. The structured data markup you provide for your pages helps Google algorithms better understand the kinds of things you offer your users so that their attributes can be featured in a visually compelling way. From ratings for recipe content to structured layouts for events to carousels for a related collection of items such as recipes from a specific host. These experiences are also streamlined for the user's device and context, enhancing your content previews and making it easier for users to take action on your content wherever they are. If Google algorithms can better understand your website content because of structured data usage, then we all should be using it. However, adding structured data to WordPress-built sites can be complex to do yourself. Although there are many WordPress plugins for adding schema.org markup, most of them do not validate against the latest structured data guidelines. YMYL Schema Markup plugin is the most advanced structured data plugin that uses schema.org vocabulary and JSON LD markup the correct way. This plugin makes adding schema to your website as simple as possible. You can select one of the main schema types for your content. Depending on which one you choose, different text boxes will come up. After that, you just need to fill in each of them one by one with appropriate values and click Insert for the schema to be added to your page's HTML code. Want to know how you can optimize your content further? One main way that is heavily underutilized is through microdata. Microdata essentially send hidden messages to Google. Microdata looks like HTML, but it isn't. Every little edge you can get when it comes to SEO can be the difference between a bit of search traffic and a ton of traffic. That's why it's so important to take advantage of opportunities such as schema markup once you find out they exist. Microdata exists primarily for search engines. It is hidden within your HTML code, and visitors will never see it unless they inspect your page's source code. The point of microdata is to describe content. While Google has gotten a lot better at detecting different parts of content and determining their relevancy, it's far from perfect. Using microdata, you can help search engines classify the most important parts of your content. There are many different types of microdata vocabularies. However, there's only one that you should use, schema markup, which is what the YMYL Schema plugin uses. It's by far the most complete library of microdata, and furthermore, it's the only one supported by all major search engines. Schema isn't designed to be used for every single part of your content, only the most important. Search engine teams recognized the usefulness of microdata a long time ago, but they knew it'd be difficult to incorporate all the different markup vocabularies into their algorithms. To solve this problem, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, later joined by Yandex, all came together to create a standard microdata library. Its name is Schema. Schema markup can lead to rich snippets, which give you an instant boost to your organic search traffic. Rich snippets can be a tremendous boost for your SEO. It's important to understand that the use of schema markup is not a ranking factor. However, it can dramatically affect your SEO results. Like I said earlier, schema isn't designed to be used for every single part of your content, only the most important. Although search engines may, on occasion, use microdata to help determine the overall relevance of your page, the main role of microdata is to help the search engines display more useful data in the search results. On-page markup helps search engines understand the information on web pages and provide richer results. A shared markup vocabulary makes it easier for webmasters to decide on a markup schema and get maximum benefit for their efforts. Richer results is an appropriate term to use here because the way Google uses schema is to create rich snippets. You've likely seen rich snippets before. They include anything other than the plain text that you see in the search results. That includes images, reviews, breadcrumbs, and other information. How do you think rich snippets affect the click-through rate of results? As you probably guessed, they almost always increase the click-through rate. Right away, this increases search engine traffic. However, it may also increase search engine rankings in some cases. I encourage you to apply it on a small scale at first and then adapt it on a larger scale if you're happy with the results. Although rich snippets will show up on any page of search results, you will get the most benefit from them if you rank on the first page of the search results. Why schema is an opportunity is something I noted earlier using microdata, which is an underutilized tactic. I mean it. It's totally underutilized. It's time to get on board. Google loves schema right now and probably will for the foreseeable future. When something is that popular, you've usually fallen behind if you haven't implemented it yet. But here's the part that will surprise you. Again, only 3% of domains regularly use schema markup. That's about 1 in 330. There is at least one rich snippet in a massive 36.60% of searches. It's easy to mess up schema unless you do it the correct way, which the YMYL Schema Markup plugin is flawless at. When you mess up HTML or CSS code on your site, it's obvious. You either end up with a broken web page or something that looks terrible because it lost all of its styling. But if you mess up your schema markup, the only ones who will notice are the search engines. Remember that schema never affects what the visitor sees unless you also mess up the existing HTML tags while you're adding schema terms. The reason why it's important to have working schema is because if you don't, you can't get your rich snippets, which defeats the entire purpose. The best way to check the validity of your schema is by using another Google tool called the Structured Data Testing Tool, which is included in the YMYL Schema Markup plugin. It's very simple to use. Just click on the button at the top of every page and use the tool to check and validate your schema markup. Now, let your WordPress site come alive with new meaning. Purchase this powerful plugin, install it, activate it, and with just a few clicks, your site can be marked up correctly so that your website can also benefit from the ranking power of using structured data. Thank you for joining us today. Please subscribe, comment, share, and have a grand day. Good day and great profits.